Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Governor. Good morning. I wanted to ask you about the letter today from the College Board. Late Saturday, they denounced the Department of Education's decision on the African American Studies course to remove it, calling it politically motivated. And who should respond to that?
So the College Board was the one that in a Black Studies course put queer theory in, not us. They did that. They were the ones that put in intersectionality. They put in other types of neo-Marxism into the proposed syllabus. And man, this is the proposed course. So our Department of Education looked at that and said, in Florida, we do education, not indoctrination. And so that runs afoul of our standards. And, you know, many people agree with that in other states. We were just the only ones that had, you know, the backbone to stand up and do it because they call you names and they demagogue you when you do it. But look, I'm so sick of people not doing what's right because they're worried that people are going to call them names. We're doing what's right here. But I would also just, so this College Board, like, nobody elected them to anything. They're just kind of there, and they're providing service. And so you can either utilize those services or not. And so they've provided these AP courses for a long time. But, you know, there are probably some other vendors who may be able to do that job as good or maybe even a lot better. So I've already talked with Paul, and I think the legislature is going to look to reevaluate kind of how Florida's doing that. Of course, our universities can or can't accept College Board courses for credit. Maybe they'll do others. And then also just whether our universities do the SAT versus the ACT. I think they do both, but we're going to evaluate kind of how all that process goes. But at the end of the day, we highlighted things that were very problematic. And I'll tell you, it wasn't just people like me saying that. Across the political spectrum, people were saying that, like, you know, this really is junk. Why don't we just do and teach the things that matter? Why is it always someone has to try to jam their agenda down our throats?
I totally agree with them on this, man. You can't give in, man. You can't let that be taught in your state because, again, you made it very clear. The state made it very clear. You don't put this kind of stuff in it. We're not going to have it. But they chose to put it in the African American History AP course. Why? Because, man, they knew that if you said no, that the state said no, that they could claim racism as the reason. They could say it's racist. Racism is the reason why they're not allowing this to be taught. We saw this. The first couple of weeks after this, we saw that they were out there yelling and screaming, and with Ben Crump, the lawyer, man, he was out there saying that. So yeah, we saw this. We saw this quite a bit. But again, man, this country is being fractured. It's being divided, and they're using things like race to get these woke ideologies pushed. They're using things like race as the catalyst to get things moving. Because why? Because like Ron DeSantis said, people are afraid of being called names. So people don't stand up. They don't say anything because, man, they're afraid of being called names. White people right now, I think the worst thing that the white people see is what you can call them is racist. So, man, they will do anything. Not all white people, but the majority of white people. They will do anything to be called racist. Anything. And again, man, if you'll do whatever not to be called something, people will use that to control you. And that's what they're doing. Unfortunately, people like Ron DeSantis they don't care. They're like, no. And again, man, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, racist, that word racist meant something. Man, it doesn't mean a thing now. Not a thing. You can disagree over something trivial and you're racist. You can disagree on policy and you're racist. So it doesn't mean anything. People use that. People try to use it on me all the time. They try to use it as a way to control you. It's like, no. No. Call me whatever you want to call me. This is the way I feel about whatever. And again, man, people got to be willing to stand up and say the truth about things. Say again, man, if we lived in a white supremacist nation, how could you stand up there and say things about white people, about whiteness, about whatever? I mean, hell, even white people get in there with you. You know, because they don't want to be seen as racist. They want to be seen as one of the good guys, one of the good white people. So they'll get right in there with you and talk about white people and whiteness and how bad it is and whatever. They'll do it too. So, but again, man, if we were truly in a white supremacist nation, you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that. You couldn't talk about white people and whiteness. It wouldn't be allowed. But again, man, people can say pretty much whatever they want to say. At least about white people and about whiteness, you can say whatever. But again, man, things nowadays are less racist than what they've ever been at any other point in history. At least in this country. Things are less racist than they were 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. But again, man, they want to have you believe it's not. They want to have you believe it's not. I mean, think about that a minute. Are things more racist or less racist than what they were, you know, in 1965 or something? I mean, again, yeah, we're not even close. But again, man, they want to divide people. And that's what they're doing. They're dividing people really well. You know, they're divided along the lines of race and, you know, the gender stuff and gender identity and whatever. They're dividing people into groups. And unfortunately, man, it's working. And this country, man, is going downhill quick. I mean, we are vulnerable being divided like this. You know, I don't think it's a coincidence that that China is flying balloons over our country. Again, guys, we are divided. We are in a weakened state, divided. United we stand, divided we fall. But, you know, I think people, man, they got to wake up. But hey, guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks.
You son of a